Hey everyone, this is Lisa from Life in Layouts, and today I am back with another video for creating with the collections. This is a collaboration that I am doing with Nicole, and we are using Doodlebug Tinseltown for this volume. I pulled out this one-page sketch from Page Maps from October of 2024. I am going to be completing a one-page layout. A lot of the Christmas photos that I have sometimes do require just a one page. I am currently working through 2023 Christmas, so I do have it planned out on my spreadsheet, the one-page layouts, to make sure that they are able to line up with other one-page layouts. Today's layout is going to be for the Christmas parade that we have every year. I don't feel like I live in a small town. However, I recently did a population lookup for our town, and it is actually pretty small. So I tend to take things for granted, like our Christmas parade that we have every year. This is a parade that's put on by the city. They shut down the main street that goes through town, which I know that takes a lot to coordinate to be able to shut down a main road. We love going to the Christmas parade every year. It's actually kind of fun to sit in the median of this main road that we drive on a regular basis and watch the Christmas parade. I don't always get a lot of great photos. Obviously it's at nighttime, so it does take a little bit more to get a good photo. So that is why I decided to do the one page and make my photos a little bit smaller. So it allows me to have the photos on there that are not so great. When I saw this sketch, I knew I wanted to use that really busy background paper. I love that type of paper. I do prefer the tone-on-tone one, which I don't think that this collection has, but I definitely wanted to make sure that I included it in at least one layout and had it very prominent. So I think you're supposed to have the busier paper be the entire background, but you know that I'm going to save as much paper as possible. So I did cut out a piece for the top and the bottom, and then the three pattern papers that are in the center with the green, yellow, and pink. I knew that those would cover up the space that was in between that very busy pattern. I did decide to ink the edges in Candy Apple Red just to make sure that I was able to tie everything together. I am loving the non-traditional colors of this collection and definitely leaning more into those. Even though there is a green, it's more of a bright green as opposed to like a forest green that's normally available in Christmas lines. And then obviously the yellow and pinks are not necessarily Christmas colors, but I'm just loving this color combination. So I did pull out my T-square ruler to measure 2 inches from the bottom, since that's where the pattern paper is going to start. And then I'm just going to start layering up the papers. I wanted the pink and the green to overlap that really busy pattern paper, so it did look like the busy pattern paper was flowing behind those strips of paper. Once I got all of the pattern paper down, I started to add the photos. I didn't take a lot of photos of the parade. I did take a photo of the Grand Marshal, which this year was the Polk Tractor Company. And then the other 3 photos were of Eli and his girlfriend at the time, as well as his best friend Levi, and then a picture of me and Eli. And looking back at these photos, this was before Eli got his perm, and he looks so different than he does now. His curls really do fit him. So looking at his straight hair, I'm so glad that we decided to do the perm for him. My title is just going to be Christmas Parade, and the word parade wasn't in any of the stickers or die cuts, so I did decide to make my own stickers with this really thin font. I love this font, and I love pairing it with a really bold plain font. So I did find a die cut that says the word Christmas on it, and I'm going to use that as part of my title as well. So I'm just going to use Nicole's Dicker technique. I will link her tutorial here on how to do this, but basically you're just stacking 2 white pieces of cardstock and then adding the pattern paper on top of it. And you can really see how thin these letters are. So let me know in the comments below, do you guys have a yearly town Christmas parade? And do you attend those Christmas parades? So working through creating with collections, I think we talked about it in the last video. Nicole and I are not sharing our layouts. I do know that she also created a one-page layout for today's video, but I have no idea what it's about. And I think that that's pretty exciting because obviously I watch all of her content as well, but I do know what the content's going to be, so it's not like a surprise, and we definitely wanted to make this a surprise. So I have no idea what her layout is all about, but I am excited to see it. So now I have my parade title created, and I'm going to lay it down on my layout, and then I'm going to add this tag here that says Christmas. I like the fact that I was able to tie in this Christmas tag because it has the silver polka dots on it. And then underneath the Grand Marshal photo is a tag that is the same print, the silver with the polka dots. I knew I had to use my Doodle Pop with Santa in the car. I thought that that was a perfect touch for a Christmas parade. And even though I don't have a picture of Santa, he's always the last person of the parade. He's usually in the fire truck. So going back to the premise of creating with the collections, just continuously adding embellishments to the layout so that the embellishments are not in my scrapbook room, but they're actually on the layout. I'm really just adding anything that I feel like would go kind of with a Christmas parade. At the top, I added a Christmas globe that has a house as well as some trees in it. I also pulled out this little speech bubble that says, "Oh, what's fun," which you guys know I'm not a big fan of the speech bubble, so I did cut off the little tab part and then I tucked it underneath the globe. I also added a little stocking to my title cluster because I felt like there was some trap space next to the word parade. And then I cut this tag in half. One half of the tag says Santa, but I just wanted the plain red so that I could have a base to add an embellishment cluster next to the snow globe. I then added some of the Starburst, and these are the ones that I feel like I am going to have so many left over. So I am adding a ton to the top left part of this layout. There is a page protector full of these. I added 8 to this layout, which didn't even put a dent into the amount of Starburst that I have. I also pulled out the mini icons as well as the regular size icons and added some pieces around. Really just looking for different colors to fit into the layout. I tried to stay with the green, yellow, and pink since those were the colors of my strips. And then I liked the added pop of red in a couple of the embellishments. Down at the bottom next to the tag, I added a Christmas wreath, and then right above it, I added a tag that says, "I heart this," with a yellow snowflake. I then pulled out the puffy stickers and added some puffy pieces around, mainly the holly in each one of the clusters, as well as the tiny little hearts. And I'm just really going back and forth with all of the embellishments, just trying to add different pieces in. I did add a deer up at the top, and I had him over to the far right, but then when I added an embellishment piece next to him, I always have this mindset that I don't want to add anything that is behind an animal because it looks like something that I don't want it to look like. So I decided to move the reindeer over right next to the snow globe and then added the little cluster in front of him. So I added a present as well as a holly leaf and a yellow heart. I then added some jute twine to my tag at the bottom, and I pulled out this stamp set that I picked up from Scrapbook.com. I will link it below if it's still available. I really like it because it has the full year, and I think it starts with 2020 and it goes up to 2026. So I added the year 2023 right below my title. I did have to pick up Santa to make sure that I could stamp it right, and then I added him back down. After I got all of the layout down, I was like, I really should add some stitching to it. I first thought about adding stitching to that gray tag, but I didn't want to measure out the top part of the tag, so I just decided to add a row of stitching on the outside edge, and I'm going to do it in white, so it's going to have just a tone-on-tone effect. It's not going to be something that is predominant, but I really like having that tone-on-tone white thread around the edge of the layout. So I do want to encourage you guys to go check out Nicole's video. It will be linked below as well as at the end of my video. I can't wait to see what she did with this collection, and I am super excited to get these Christmas layouts completed, and it's so much fun working with this Doodlebug collection. All right, that is it for this video. Here is my final layout as well as some close-ups. I did do my journaling offline, and it says, "Enjoyed watching the Arbondale Christmas Parade. This year, Levi and Bella joined Eli and me for the festivities." All right, if you enjoyed this video, if you wouldn't mind giving me a thumbs up, I would really appreciate it. If you haven't done so already and you want to see more double page layout inspiration, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Thanks everyone for watching, and I hope that you have a scrappy day.